Hello and welcome to the first video of Overrated. Every week we'll be taking a look at one football player who is overrated and one football player who I believe is underrated. And then we'll discuss their points why, and then you can feel free to add comments as well and add to the discussion. Anyway, this week I think we'll start with the first player I think is overrated. I'm going to start with a player who doesn't apply his trade in the Premier League, but applies at the moment in, I think it's Serie A. Yeah. That'll be Zlatan Ibrahimovic, currently playing for AC Milan. Now, he was playing for Inter Milan, then he left there to go to Barcelona, and then he's back at AC Milan. Now, in England, we've always been told by the foreign countries that he plays in that he's always been amazing and he's always this great striker. And then whenever we see him in the Champions League apply his trade and draws an English team for whichever team he may be playing, he never really shows up. He just looks normal. He looks lazy. He looks lacklustre. He looks unfit almost. Can't keep up with the pace. And I think that's quite obvious. He left Inter Milan from quite a slow league to go to La Liga, Barcelona, and they sold him within his first season because he just couldn't keep up with the pace. And I think that proves it because he's gone back to Italy now, and it's kind of like Shevchenko all over again. He leaves a place where he was amazing, goes back, and he's just not the same player anymore. I mean, yes, okay, he plays for AC Milan now, not Inter Milan. Different system and different players, but he's still not the same. I think now that Italy have kind of become not, I don't know what way to put it really. Like they've kind of sinned the player that he really is. I mean, everyone says if a player plays amazing for one team, it's like they're suddenly the greatest player in the world, but they need to go and play. They have to go and prove it elsewhere as well. I mean, fair play to him, he tried to do it, but it just didn't work out, and that's because, well, he's overrated. I mean, feel free to add your comments to that, and we'll discuss that more. For this week, my underrated player is quite interesting, actually. Now, this player I would have put nearer the start of the season as an overrated player, but I think this season he's really become come his own. You know, he's come of age. And this player is Park Ji-sung, that plays for Man United. Did play with PSV and was brought on Man United, I believe, 3 seasons ago maybe it was. Anyway, when he turned up, no one really knew him, but he was massive in Korea, so it was obviously, everyone saw it as a merchandise deploy so that a Man United who's brilliantly supported in South Korea and Korea and Japan and the Far East is like pretty much the only club that's majorly supported in that way. So obviously if they buy a player of that nationality, they're all going to go crazy and buy the merchandise even more. So when he was brought to Man United, everybody thought, well, that's the role he's got. He's just come here so they can sell even more in the Far East. But no, recently, he's really started to prove himself. I mean, I never used to rate him. I used to think he wasn't good enough for Man United. I didn't think he was could keep up with the team. You know, he didn't quite fit in. But this season, he's really coming into his own. I think he's ready to take over from almost a Paul Scholes and not Ryan Giggs role because he can't put crosses in, but I think he's almost ready to take over for Paul Scholes because he's really come on this season. He's been the key man. He's been the target man at the centre of the field, at sometimes saving Man United's career. But I think all he needs now is that one game, a big game, obviously not just any game, to really come of age and show the world that he's amazing. I think that might be the Champions League for Man United. You know, I think if Park Ji-sung plays. Okay, if Man United win or lose, I think if he plays amazing, that could be his coming of age game. You know, I just think he's really proved himself, really has, and I think he's going to become a key man now in Man United's structure. Because I mean, Man United go out and buy these players, and they never really turn up eventually, and then they sell them a few seasons later. Let's think about it: Klebson, Jemba, people like that. They just come through Man United, then they leave again. But I think out of all I like to call the second team of Man United, you know, your O'Shea, your Darren Fletcher, he's really stepped up his game. I think he's honestly ready for first team. I'm really impressed by him. So, fair play to the lad, well done. So that's this week's video. We talked about Ibrahimovic not Inter Milan, AC Milan now. I'd like to see what your comments are for him, see if you agree with me, see if you disagree with me. And Park Ji-sung for Man United. We'll have a look at next week's video, which is the last video of the English Premier League season, and we'll be just discussing the overrated player of the season and the most underrated player of the season. Anyway, that's it for this week, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.